Welcome back. Gauntlet of Greatness, quarterfinals, and gotta play all the matches, right? I mean, this should be a blowout. I get Memory Jar on the one side, Rebels on the other side. It doesn't sound close, but this Rebel deck it's the little deck that could, right? It's the Cinderella. Nobody thought it could get out of the group stage. I was surprised it didn't get relegated for finishing last in the group, but here it is. It's in the playoffs. No problem. All it did was draw the Jar deck. Well, look, we saw last week, Academy is out. We've seen upsets, right? Anything is possible. Not sure this is possible, but maybe. We'll see. So here's the Memory Jar deck. If you haven't seen it before, Memory Jar is a draw 7. This deck is from Urza's Legacy era standard, was legal for approximately 3 weeks. Wizards at the time knew they had accidentally printed a bunch of combo enablers in Urza's Saga. They'd done 2 rounds of bannings. They'd finally gotten rid of everything. Oh, but then Urza's Legacy came out, and it turned out there was another draw 7 in Urza's Legacy. So Eric Lauer and I flew to a Grand Prix and both made the top 8 and pointed out, all that work you guys did getting rid of the combo decks? Yeah, you didn't get rid of the combo decks. In retrospect, Tinker may actually have been the bigger problem. I mean, if it wasn't for Tinker and you had to pay 5 for the jar, maybe, but still would have been a problem. You've got Dark Ritual legal, you've got Mana Vault, Mox Diamond, Lotus Petal was around, although, to be fair, it was on the banned list, which had been announced but had not yet kicked in for this month of Standard, a list that Memory Jar was retroactively added to. Necropotence, no problem with that card, right? Oh, how about Yawgmoth's Will, also legal. Just all the sort of, closets in R&D's, skeletons in R&D's closet. The basic combo here is Megrim. If you activate 2 Memory Jars and there's a Megrim in play, well, at the end of the turn, while they discard their jar hands and pick up new ones, they're just taking damage. So 2 jars is normally enough to deal 28 damage. Throw in a 3rd jar or a 2nd Megrim if you want to. That's it. That's the combo. The combo is activate a couple of jars, play a Megrim, win the game. The opponent here, and by the way, you can do that as early as the first turn with Soul Lands and Fast Mana and Dark Rituals and whatnot. The opponent, see what happened after Urza's Saga is that R&D said, let's not do that again, and they printed a Mercadian Masks block, which didn't have anything super scary, while they then went out and hired people off of the Pro Tour to come in and help them get good at development. So, hey, I like the Jar deck not just for top 4ing a Grand Prix, but got me my job in R&D, essentially. Anyway, here's the Rebel deck a couple years later. Ramosian Sergeant is very good at building a board position. You can go get a bunch of creatures, but it's slow, right? Here's a 1/1 flyer. You go get lots and lots of card advantage, right? Every single creature with the Rebel Search mechanic can just create a board state capable of single-handedly winning the game, and Parallax Wave can prevent your opponent from doing anything with creatures. But it just doesn't seem like you can't build a clock fast enough to race Jar, and the amount of interaction, what is there? You can blow up a Megrim. So Waxwane is not irrelevant. Okay. You can blow up more enchantments after sideboarding. Yeah, that's hilarious. I think blowing up Megrim is probably the most interaction we have here. Force the Jar deck to go off again, and then maybe Armageddon does something after sideboarding. But hey, the Rebel deck got here. It earned this spot. It's not like we deliberately fed it to the Jar Wolves. So, let's see what happens. Waxwane is actually a relevant card here, isn't it? Somehow this Rebel deck always seems to have slightly more game than you think it does. Alright. Won the die roll too. This hand doesn't do anything. This hand has 1 mana, and the 2nd and 3rd Yawgmoth's Wills. The first one doesn't even do anything. Yeah, I mean, if I could get to Tinker, like replace this with a Soul Land, and I'm keeping and I'm tinkering on the first turn, but not gonna keep this one. Well, it's a turn 2. No, it's not a turn 2 Tinker. It's turn 2 Tinker if I draw anything. Seriously, this Rebel deck. It's a little bit of everything. I think I'm supposed to keep it. I mean, I think it's better than a 5-card hand. Because if I draw a Ritual or a Mana Vault, I can play this. Yeah, I think it's better than a 5-card. Alright. Mox Diamond helps, right? No, not really. I mean, I can get to 3 mana, but only by sacking my petal, so I can't quite tinker. I think I just wait. Yeah, I'm just gonna play my land and next turn. A 2/2. I can live with that. What are we gonna draw? Alright. Now I can play a land, I can play a Mox Diamond. I can tinker out a jar. He can't really interact with that. I have no reason to crack the jar. I can just say go. So that'll be the plan. Discard the City of Brass. Play the Swamp. This Petal will be the card that I tinker away. Yeah, I think we just put Memory Jar into play. And then say go. Next turn, if he taps out, in other words, if he doesn't have the ability to point Waxwane at a Megrim, then I'll crack the jar. If it doesn't tap out, it's less clear. Untapped mana. Oh, hilarious. Wow, with all these jars in hand. So I can actually Yawgmoth's Will for City of Brass and Lotus Petal, which gives me 5 lands on the next turn. I might as well, right? I have all day. And my only fear is that he's going to break up my combo with these Waxwanes. I don't want to kind of get these jars trapped in my hand. Yeah, I think I just make him commit to doing more stuff. Wish I could tinker out of this graveyard, but nowhere close to being able to do that. I'll just get a land. A petal. Now next turn, if he continues to play this game, I'll just tap 5. I mean, sack the petal, and just cast another Memory Jar. Okay, well, now he has the ability to start doing things. He can now leave his mana untapped and summon stuff during my end step. So it's a mild clock. What do I do? I just keep summoning jars, right? There's no reason not to. Two, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's got no Armageddons in his main deck, and he's got no artifact removal in his main deck. Hilariously, I basically need to put more Megrims into play than he has mana untapped. Is that the idea? It's kind of funny. There's no reason not to play another jar and then do this next turn. Funny. Yeah, he'll summon a guy. Now he's actually hitting me for 5. It's probably enough of a clock. Gives me 2 turns, right? I can go off, and then even if I fizzle or he blows up my Megrams, I can untap like Yawgmoth's Will and go off again. So yeah, next turn. He's gonna be able to attack me for 7 next turn. All right. Let's see what happens. Wow, Tinker. Do I actually cast the Tinker before I start cracking the jars? Or am I gonna want the Tinker afterwards? I guess I may as well. Crack it now. All right. I mean, I'd rather just have 4 draw 7s floating. And any reason not to use my land drop for the turn? I'm going to get land drops there. This way I have a land drop for the turn after. Sure. If we need a turn after. All right, let's see what we can find. We found a Megram, so that's good. I should have played City of Brass. I mean, City of Traders. Because this land drop's actually going to take 2 life. I think I need to play it, though. I don't really want to tap all my colored mana. So I don't have infinite mana here. I haven't found any Dark Rituals yet. Interestingly, this is now vulnerable to any Waxwanes. Well, he's down to 2 Waxwanes now. Okay. The rest of the sand doesn't do anything. So we would like to find a couple more Megrams. What am I going to do? Looks like this for black. Float the Dark Ritual mana. Put Petal into play. Put Mana Vault into play. Yeah, if I stop, I lose to 1 Waxwing. So I'll keep going. Keep going part is nice. Feels good to play all 7 cards from a hand, right? I mean, hilariously, I'm actually jarring him toward Waxwanes, but there's no reason to... Like, I have no reason to think that that hand has no Waxwanes. Am I really only going to find 1 Megram? It'd be depressing. Yeah, you found a Waxwing, of course. He has to pretty much cast them as he finds them. All right, need a Megram. Found one. Only 1. Can I do anything with any of these other cards? Not really. Oh, I can put Necro into play. It doesn't do anything. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, he's attacking me down to 1 next turn, so. And I can't Intuition. That doesn't do anything. Oh, I can Intuition for non-Yawgmoth's Will cards? He's going to hit me down to 1. If I don't immediately draw a Yawgmoth's Will, like my original hand doesn't have anything in it. All it has is a City of Traders. I mean, I basically bet that I could go through my library and find more Megrams than him. And I mean, there's 3 Yawgmoth Wills left in my library. So, I mean, I kind of wish I could keep this. Oh, there's 3 Yawgmoth Wills left in my library. What if I Yawgmoth Will? Oh, I see. That's what I do, right? I mean, I do play 4 Yawgmoth Wills, don't I? Right, if I play... Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 Yawgmoth Wills. So I can Intuition for Yawgmoth Will for this Megram, and then I'm fine. Great. In fact, there's no reason not to play this one. Let's see if I can get him to Wax Wane it before we get there. Because I haven't gone through Yawgmoth Wills, right? I feel like I've only seen the one that I used as it for the baby will at the beginning of the game. Oh no, they were in that one jar hand. I'm an idiot. That one jar hand had lots of them. Hilarious. So if he has a Wax Wane in that hand, we have to top deck this one last Yawgmoth Will. Yeah, I forgot that one jar hand had 2 in it. So those are just headed to the graveyard. I couldn't cast them at the time. I didn't have a Megram in my graveyard at the time, so it wouldn't have done any good. I just have to take irrelevant cards out of my library. Well, I may as well take Petal Vault, right? I could take Megram. That doesn't actually matter. Pretty sure I was right to do that baby Yawgmoth Will at the beginning. I mean, in retrospect, obviously, if I had Yawgmoth Will in my original hands, I'd be in much better shape here. Maybe that was a mistake. I guess I can tinker a random artifact out of my deck too. Yeah, there's no reason not to. This is all just increasing my odds of top decking Yawgmoth Will next turn. I'm an idiot. I took all the artifacts out last time. Ah! You just have to Intuition for... Alright. Let's find out if he's got a Wax Wane. He does not have a Wax Wane. Hooray! This Rebel deck, that was a lot scarier. There's the 2 Yawgmoth Wills. It was a lot scarier than it needed to be. Funny. So, does Duress even beat Wax Wane? It doesn't, right? Defense Grid would sort of beat Wax Wane. I've got to worry about Armageddon now a little bit. I mean, the thing is, I'm jarring. He's going to have untapped mana, so I can jar him into hands that might have a Wax Wane. And I should not have done that initial Yawgmoth Will. That's what I should have done. I should have just been like, all right, I'll do nothing this turn. Whatever. I need to keep this Yawgmoth Will so that I have the ability to get beaten and come back anyway. I mean, I guess Defense Grid is somewhat useful in those situations. Necros are so the backup plan in this deck. Yeah, if I put a Defense Grid or 2... Yeah, I feel like... Well, I wouldn't want to draw 2 of them. Let's just do it this way. Alright. I mean, that's a turn 2 Tinker hand. It's also a turn 2 Necro hand if I want it. Definitely a keeper. Might as well turn 2 Necro, right? How about turn 1 Necro? Even better. Yeah, I'm definitely going to turn 1 Necro. I could turn 1 Tinker. Turn 1 Necro just seems better. Setting aside 5, 6. It's not like very many of my cards are bad. Also, it's not like I have to win next turn. I mean, I know I can go land Tinker, so I think I'm just going to do 5 cards. These are not bad, but not great. So what? I can Tinker with black mana floating, which is pretty good. Yeah, especially if he's going to tap out. Seal of Cleansing. Hilarious. Is he going to hit my Mox? He's going to save it for Megram. Seems like the right play. All right. It seems like I Tinker, I go for it, see if I can find 2 Megrams, and if I can't, then whatever, I Necro. Yeah. So, play the Petal. Yeah, I'm going to go Ritual Tinker. Uh-oh. I think Shadow might have lost his internet. Or I have. That would be annoying. Alright, let me pause the recording and see if I can get my internet back. Alright, internet is back. Everything should be fine. I'm clearly going to Dark Ritual. I'm going to Tinker. The question is, am I playing a land out of this hand? I feel like I probably am. Because I mean, there's a chance I'll miss one on my jar hand, right? I don't think I want to pay 2 life for an extra mana, though. So... And then do I Tinker away? I think I Tinker away the Mox Diamond. Yeah, I get to Jar with 2 mana floating and a Petal. And I need 2 Megrams to win, basically. My graveyard got? My graveyard is Ritual, Ritual, Mox Diamond, Tinker, Jar. My graveyard's pretty saucy. I do not want to Intuition. Put the rest in your graveyard. So they're not discarded. If I Intuition with an Necro in play, I still get the cards, right? When I discard a card, exile it from your graveyard. So if I Intuition for 3 Megrams, I think that works. Seems like it should work. Because they're not discarded. They're put into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. Okay. So I can sack this for blue. I sack this for blue and 2. I'll have still have the 3 black left. So yeah, I can Yawgmoth's Will for 3 rituals and a Mox Diamond. This all should just work. Cool. I think it works. A Megrum. A Megrum? A Megrum. A Yawgmoth's Will. Hilarious. Seal of Cleansing in play. No problem! Bring back the pedal, bring back the Mox Diamond. That card gets RFG'd, of course. So if I just go Megrum, he blows up 1. He takes 7 times 4. So in theory, I could Memory Jar. In theory, I could Tinker, but I don't need to. Although the Tinker is safer. There's no way he can dump cards from hand. He doesn't have anything that costs 0. So this just wins. Let's just put him out of his misery. Seal of Cleansing. Good times. Seal of Cleansing, no good, sir.
Well, it kills 1. I take less damage. Yeah, no, it's over.
Yeah, you take 28.
Yeah, that's still more than 20. I needed healing solves. Lots and lots of healing solves. Yeah, so that game did not go the way we expected, right? We totally thought Rebels was going to crush.
We did?
No.
Look, that game was more trouble than I was expecting by far. I definitely felt like having to play around Waxwayne in the first game was annoying. And like, if you have a Waxwayne in that last jar hand in the first game, you probably win that game. I mean,
yes.
I basically have to top deck Yawgmoth's Will. Like, I set it up where I would get another turn, but my original hand, because I did that little baby Yawgmoth's Will, like, I think I misplayed it to give you that window where, but yeah, if I had jarred you into a Waxwayne for each of my Megrums, and not
right.
the Yawgmoth's Will off, it would have worked. Like, the way the game played out, if you have a Waxwayne in that last hand, I only have a 1 in 15 shot to top deck Yawgmoth's Will, my last Yawgmoth's Will, to win it.
Right.
Game, though, this game not as close. Turn 1 Necro, you made the mistake, you tapped out for a Seal of Cleansing. Yeah,
I know, so I couldn't threaten having Waxwayne all over the place.
No, you're playing.
Yeah, it was funny.
Correct.
It was funny though, because like you went through the jar hands, and I knew that I had no Waxwaynes, and like I could see you thinking and going through all this stuff, and I'm like, I could just concede here, but I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him sweat it out a little bit and explain it to the folks at home what's going on. But yeah, no, I'm completely dead to rights, and I know it.
All right. Well, good games. We got the result we expected here. The jar deck cruises on. So I guess we've got our semifinals now.
It's true.
Yeah,
go ahead and list those out.
Jar will be taking on Delver.
Oh, I'm rooting for Delver.
Yeah, I mean, it should have more game than Rebels. I mean, it's such a dramatically faster clock, and there's some mana leaks in there to mess with things.
Right.
So, I mean, we'll see. I certainly like Jar's side of that matchup, but that's interesting. And then we get, what do we have on the other side? We have our upset winner, the Necro deck, taking on Mythic. I think I like Necro's side of that, right? I mean, does
the skull
beat Necro? It seems like between Contagions and Strip Mines and Hymn to Torox.
Oh, yeah, no, it can't survive. So I'm going for Necro. And then Necro versus, if everything goes the way we expect, right? I think it's still probably Necro versus Jar.
Yep. On both sides.
That's true. Well, I'll allow the skull to go ahead and take home a victory for the first year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But see what happens.
All right, good games. See you next week. Bye, guys.